Hello everybody. Today I want to talk about the No War in Iran protests that I filmed on February 4th. These were in solidarity with a national movement. Some Occupy groups decided to join in, MoveOn.org, a whole bunch of other groups. And a friend of mine, Haas, he's of Persian descent, and he recently started a group called People for Truth. And I filmed his protest as well and threw it up on my channel. And I've been kind of working backwards in investigating whether or not I really agree with some of the things I've been associating with when I film them. So today I was reading about the history of Iran, and I wanted to express to people what I found as far as why this No War in Iran protest is something that I actually agreed with. In the description box, I'm going to leave for everyone links to some PDF files I'm going to put on my website. These are declassified CIA files about Operation AJAX. This was a joint effort between the CIA and British MI6 in 1953. And so it's covered under the Freedom of Information Act, so I got it. And in it, it describes in great detail everything that the U.S. military did to remove Mossadegh in 1953. Now, Mossadegh was democratically elected, and in his place they installed the Shah, which is kind of like having a king-pope leader of a country, but Muslim, of course. In this document you will see how the CIA infiltrated the country, put out a whole bunch of propaganda, paid cash bribes to people. They basically just went around wreaking havoc to get people to not like Mossadegh anymore. And they paid off a whole bunch of religious leaders in exchange for votes to reinstall the Shah. And they promised them money for oil at later dates. They seized radio stations, and they put out propaganda on the radio stations. And then Mossadegh was arrested, and then when he was under house arrest, he died, and the whole country went back to pretty much Sharia law under the Shah, and it seems like something that our country wouldn't do nowadays. We wouldn't go into a country that democratically elects their leader and tell them, no, you can't have that leader, we're going to give you a dictator. That seems like the complete opposite of what we do now. But as everyone knows, this is the climate that we're in now is such that we know that things get hyped up when they're not real, like weapons of mass destruction. Although I would point to some things that Saddam Hussein had in Iraq as being weapons of mass destruction, what I would consider to be. He did not have any nuclear weapons, and he was very far away from it. And I think most people, when they think WMD, they think nuclear war, So we didn't find any of that, although we were told we'd find it. And people are a little bit more wary. They're not as naive anymore. So now there's a whole bunch of people who believe that the U.S. is posturing for war in Iran and Syria and a couple other places, and they're protesting beforehand. You know, before it gets that bad, they're trying to disseminate this information. And so I thought I'd do my part in sharing some of the information that I've found out on my own by giving you all a copy of Operation AJAX, just so that you can see exactly how horrible we were when we installed the Shah in Iran. And we all should realize that, like, that was 1953, you know, and some of us think, oh, our grandfathers were so great, you know, just two generations back. You look at that, that's coming right out of World War II, you know, and they were building this country, and they were such great people, and yeah, I don't think we can afford to be that naive anymore. This world's a lot more connected than it was 60 years ago. So, yeah, check them out. Links in the description box.